Budgets collapsing, jobs erased, states on the brink. Tourism isn't slowing, it's collapsing. These are the 10 U.S. states now in crisis because their tourism industry has fallen apart. Florida has always been the model state for mass tourism. Cheap flights, endless beaches, and the seasonal flow of snowbird residents built a trillion-dollar economy. In 2025, that system cracked. Airports that once carried full flights from New York, Chicago, and Toronto now operate below half capacity. Budget airlines are cutting routes. Seasonal visitors are skipping winter rentals, leaving empty neighborhoods across Orlando and the Gulf Coast. Orlando's theme parks that were once the crown jewel are now slowing. Ticket sales are falling, hotel occupancy is at historic lows, and nearby restaurants are shuttering. Miami, heavily reliant on cruise tourism, is facing its worst downturn in decades. Ships are sailing half full, and several carriers have redeployed vessels to the Caribbean and Mexico. The financial impact is direct. Florida's tourism industry supports more than 1 million jobs and contributes over $100 billion annually to the state economy. With visitor numbers plunging, state tax revenue is collapsing, local businesses are failing, and unemployment is rising sharply in the hospitality sector. Florida was built on a model of constant inflows. Now the inflow has slowed, and the entire economy is feeling the shock. Las Vegas was built on volume. We are talking millions of visitors each month, fueling casinos, hotels, conventions, and world-class entertainment. In 2025, that pipeline dried up. Visitor numbers are in free fall, and the city that markets itself as recession-proof is showing structural cracks. Casinos are reporting double-digit declines in gaming revenue. Conventions once booked years in advance are canceling or downsizing. Hotel occupancy rates have fallen below 60%, a threshold that makes large properties unsustainable. The entertainment sector, from concerts to residencies, is operating at a fraction of capacity. The consequences are severe because Nevada is more exposed than most states. Roughly 1/4 of its entire economy is tied to tourism. With fewer travelers arriving, secondary industries are unraveling. Restaurants, retail outlets, and transport services are facing closures. Real estate linked to tourism demand is stalling, and small businesses that depend on the convention trade are struggling to survive. The fiscal shock extends to state government. Nevada's budget relies heavily on gaming and hospitality taxes. With both collapsing, lawmakers are facing budget shortfalls that will hit public services. Las Vegas once symbolized limitless growth. Now it represents the vulnerability of an economy chained to tourism. Las Vegas feels stranded on land, whereas Hawaii is stranded by distance. Hawaii's economy has always depended on long-haul flights and high visitor volumes. In 2025, that reliance has become its greatest weakness. Bookings are dropping at double-digit rates, and major airlines are cutting capacity on trans-Pacific routes. Hotels across Oahu, Maui, and the Big Island are reporting record-low occupancy. Resorts that once ran near full capacity year-round are standing half-empty, forcing mass layoffs. Restaurants, tour operators, and cultural attractions are losing customers by the week. Cruise traffic, once a reliable supplement, has also thinned as operators prioritize shorter, more profitable Caribbean and Mexican routes. The consequences are deeper than tourism alone. Hawaii imports most of its goods, but relies on tourism dollars to balance the trade gap. With inflows collapsing, local budgets are strained. Agricultural exports, such as coffee and pineapple, cannot compensate for the shortfall. The result is a widening deficit and rising unemployment in communities where nearly 1 in 5 jobs depend on visitor spending. Hawaii's natural beauty hasn't changed. What has changed is the global travel map, and Hawaii is being left behind. If islands are suffering distance, America's coasts are bleeding from decline. California and New York are the twin coastal magnets of U.S. tourism. Together, they attracted tens of millions of international visitors each year, sustaining hotels, airports, and cultural landmarks. In 2025, both states are now facing steep reversals. In California, San Francisco has been hit hardest. Visitor spending is falling, hotel occupancy is sliding below profitability, and major conventions are pulling back. Los Angeles, once powered by film tourism and international arrivals through LAX, is also slowing. State officials report declining tax revenue from hospitality, leaving budgets under stress. The Golden State's reliance on global inflows has turned into a fiscal liability. In New York, Broadway attendance is falling, hotels are reporting vacancy spikes, and airports are moving fewer passengers than at any time in the past decade. Manhattan's hospitality sector, which is one of the city's largest employers, is cutting jobs. The loss of foreign visitors, who typically spend more per capita than domestic tourists, is amplifying the revenue shortfall. Both states function as national economic engines, but as international arrivals fall and domestic travel shifts elsewhere, California and New York are showing that even the largest markets can turn fragile under a tourism collapse. Beyond coasts and casinos, America's heartland hubs are also breaking under pressure. Texas built its tourism strength on conventions, business travel, and large-scale events. In 2025, that foundation is eroding. Convention centers in Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio are facing cancellations and reduced attendance. Corporate travel budgets remain cut, and international delegations are no longer arriving at pre-pandemic volumes. Hotels tied to business travelers are running below break-even levels, leaving downtown districts quiet. Sports tourism, another key draw, is showing lower turnout, adding further strain to the service sector. Washington's exposure looks different but is no less severe. Cruise lines that once filled Seattle's port during summer are idling. With fewer sailings to Alaska, the state's cruise-dependent economy is shrinking. National parks, Olympic, Mount Rainier, and North Cascades are reporting sharp drops in visitor traffic. Rural communities that relied on park tourism are seeing immediate income loss, while urban centers tied to the cruise economy face long-term instability. Both states now share the same problem: service sector employment gaps. Hospitality, transport, and event management jobs are disappearing faster than they can be replaced. For Texas and Washington alike, the collapse is not just about tourism numbers, it is about missing pillars of local economies. From national parks even to city skylines, the collapse is now everywhere. Montana has long relied on its national parks to drive local economies. In 2025, visitation is collapsing. Yellowstone and Glacier are reporting some of their lowest numbers in decades. Gateway towns that depend on seasonal traffic are seeing restaurants close, hotel bookings evaporate, and tour operators fold. Without steady inflows, entire communities face financial instability. Michigan is facing a different but equally sharp decline. Great Lakes tourism is flatlining. Beach towns and island ferries are running below capacity. Regional airlines, which connect small Midwestern cities to seasonal travelers, are shrinking routes and reducing staff. For a state already battling industrial decline, the tourism shortfall removes one of the few remaining growth sectors. Illinois, anchored by Chicago, is feeling the collapse through its once dominant convention trade. McCormick Place, the largest convention center in North America, is booking fewer events, with international delegations pulling back. Hotel and restaurant industries that grew around trade shows are cutting staff. The city's downtown, once energized by visitor flows, is now showing vacancy and slowing revenue. 3 states, 3 different models, but all reveal the same trend. When tourism collapses, entire local economies lose their foundations.